Hi everyone, we're back with the VMP-2 again, and I might mess up and call it the VMP-1 or whatever. We're taking a look at this thing again, and we're just going to have a look at, we're going to pull it apart and see what's going on with this thing. There's a few bits that I want to pull off for good, which I think you guys know about, but 1.5mm Allen key should remove these screws, but it doesn't. They just round straight away. Good God. We'll come back to the flash hider. The rail itself is a 4mm. I'm hoping they haven't rounded every single screw off on that, because that will be super annoying. 4mm Allen key. We can undo those two bolts. The plate falls out the other end. You can tell where they've got the inspiration from for this rail, and take them off, and we should be able to just, oh actually no, before I do that, is it going to be a 2mm? I need to remove these little screws, which I forgot, and I probably did scratch the barrel nut up a little bit, but it doesn't really matter because I'm going to be replacing it. So don't forget those screws, otherwise you'll put some little lines in like that, and it looks very stupid now, doesn't it? The stock, it's one of them where we just push the button. We can put a tool through there, pull that down, slide that off, get rid of it. It's got to be one of the most ugliest stocks I've ever come across, and it's ill-fitting, so that can go in the bin. The grip as well is something else that can come off, which is annoying because look what they've done there. So usually you have your Allen key sets or whatever. I have a lot of Allen drivers, and you'll go down in there and do that. Now I do have a slightly thinner one which might work. No, it's blocked that one as well. So it's looks like a 4mm Allen key, but you're going to struggle to get a tool down there. So you need a super long Allen, like a normal Allen key. So do I have one? Potentially. Let me have a look. Right, luckily I found this in a random drawer. So luckily we can remove this. It's because it's annoying because the grip's so thin, because they put these grip panels on. You need a tool that you don't normally use. So a little nut in the receiver there, as per usual on other guns. There's a hole in the bottom there which looks like there's a screw, like a countersunk screw missing. I'm not sure if that's something we need to mess with. Never took one of these apart before, so I am guessing that's just hand tight. That was easy. So we pull that off. We should be able to remove the outer barrel. And I will have to get something. Can we Billy Bodge this? The Torx. Yeah, they are rounded. You can feel it. So why do they fit such crap grub screws and then tighten them up to a point? They're probably glued in actually. I've managed to get one out. Probably glue them in, tighten them up all the way. It doesn't need 3 freaking grub screws, does it? Just do one. I think I've got them. So if you're struggling with these, I know my 1.5s are high quality. If you're struggling, you get a T7, you get some of these cheap sets off Amazon or whatever, you can normally jam them in there to free it up. I think I have to pull it out even more. So we've got 3. Why, I don't know. Still not moving, which is weird. Let's pull them out. Oh, they are out. This flash hider, I imagine, works with their suppressors. still won't come out. But everything's out. All the grub screws are out. I think what they've done, they've tightened those grub screws up so much. I think it's probably deformed the threads. Yeah, so what they've done... Wait, is this... Maybe it isn't plastic. It felt plastic, but I don't think it is. I think it's... I think it's actually some type of metal. It doesn't fit though. I think it's the coating. So don't worry guys, I have no plan to use this, but it is actually metal underneath. They've just put some coating on it which makes it seem like polymer. But you'll see where they've whacked in those grub screws, they've actually deformed the threads, which meant that it was stuck, but that's now removed. Pulling the outer barrel off, it destroyed the O-ring on the end of the inner barrel. And this bullshit, sorry, excuse my French, is the stuff I'm talking about. Now, that was loose. So I actually, when I picked it up there, I managed to tighten it up. What the hell are you thinking with this crap? Like, in what universe do you think that that's a good idea? Oh, honestly, I've seen some bull in my time in the airsoft industry, but this is just something else. So let's carry on pulling this thing apart. We've got some pins here which we push out left to right, so I should be able to comfortably do that by hand, he says. I'll do my hammer. So he's meant to encapsulate, and then we've got a bolt there and a bolt there, so 4mm. Removes the back one and the washer that's on it as well. Front one is also a 4mm. There's the front one. So now we should be able to pull this up so the upper receiver comes out. And then we've got the lower receiver with the trigger pack. I'm guessing this slides. I mean, you'd have to remove the mag release, I think, because that blocks it. So let's do that at 2mm. That wasn't even tight either. That was loose. Some rookie mistakes on this. So pull that Chinesian mag release off and pull that side out, and then we should, it's getting stuck on the pins, so remove them a little bit more. So it's got two stop points on the pins, so the first stop point and the second stop point will clear it with this. So we have to take the selector off as well. It's quite a faff, this is. Another 2mm screw, countersunk screw on the paddle. So we'll remove that as well. Paddle slides off. That actually does feel like metal. And we're going to have to remove the safeties as well to get it off. So what size is that? It's going to be a 2.5. So remove one side and remove the other side. I'll put the left one over here. And now the trigger pack will slide out, and you've got your trigger pack out. I have heard, I think it was Sabre Techworks, who's always popping in on the Discord. He has a little YouTube channel as well, and he does like some teching bits and such. And I did hear him say that taking this thing apart was a massive ball ache. You can see a lot of components there look directly pulled from the KCO2 system. But as far as trigger packs go, it's not actually a bad design at all. And I really do like the trigger on these VMPs. So you've got your hammer, your valve knocker reset, and then you've got your full auto sear there. And we shall test all of which are just pot metal. I think there's a steel. Is that a steel part on the back of the bolt catch? I think it might be the actual screw that it's attaching to. The screw there. You've got the plate which takes the pickup off the magazine to enable the bolt lock. That's steel. But the rest of it, apart from the screws and the pins, is Chinesium of some kind. And I say that lightly, but it's some kind of pot metal, which isn't a bad thing as long as they don't wear out, I suppose. The receiver, I really do feel like they could have modelled this better at the back and made it a bit more, you know, a bit more curved and, you know, better looking than just a block. It's just a bit of to go through all this. I mean, you've created this, you've created the trigger pack, you've modelled all this out. That isn't easy. Well, to me, that's not easy to do on CAD. So you've got the skill to make some really intricate stuff and make it all work, but you haven't got the design skill to make it better looking. So I'm guessing this is going to be an AEG spec stock tube, but you know, I have been wrong before. So do I have a stock of some description that we can throw on there? I have a Magpul one here. So we've got a Magpul CTR. So this is a real steel Magpul CTR. Yeah, the stock tube is going to be like AEG spec. Which, why you wouldn't make it mil spec, I don't know, especially when you're doing GBBR stuff. Even on a Marui buffer tube. I mean, in fact, this is a mil spec buffer tube. You know, nice and solid. But hey ho, it is what it is. Oh, let me just put this back in the gut rack here so it doesn't fall over. So this thing is nasty, very nasty. And people have been asking if you could put like a Di-Frico grip on here. The answer is yes, but you will have to modify it. And the reason you have to modify it, this is a brand new one I'm opening for you here, so hope you guys appreciate me taking one out of stock to show you this. So you'll see the tang, or the back of the grip, sits up there. So you would literally just have to take this in perfect line with the grip and just cut it off the back, and then that is going to fit and it's going to be nice. So I'm going to keep this to one side for this. I will modify it at some point this week and get a nice thing on there. In terms of the stock, I'm not really sure what we're going to do. I do have a bunch of like stock parts lying around. What will go on there and work properly though, I'm not too sure. The barrel, I'm hoping that's just normal spec stuff as well. This is a two-piece, so you've got an aluminium piece there, and they just screw together. To be honest, unless you have an issue, I'd leave that alone and not mess with it. The rail is the rail. It's not going to be going back on. to be honest with you. Let's at least give it the dignity of putting the screws back in, so that we don't lose them. So we don't want to lose the screws, do we, when we launch it across the freaking room, because it's never going back on there. Ugh. That gives me the heebie-jeebies. So yeah, we can put this back in for now. We will be experimenting and trying out the semi-only. Should be careful of that pin there because it did come out. The semi-only trigger pack. We can push the pins in onto the second stop to make sure that stays in place. We can take this part of the mag release. Go that way, or did it go that way? I'm sure it goes that way. And pop this back on there. We need a 2mm. Is that the 2mm? Yeah, it is the 2mm. Screw this back on if it wants to fit. Doesn't seem to want to go on for some reason. There we go. Just needs to line up properly. So we can pop that back on there. So it's not lost. We'll put the selectors back on there so we don't lose them as well. Right side and left side. Go on nice and easy. It's not the worst in the world for taking apart, but definitely not like friendly to us that like to just take a couple of pins out and strip the whole thing down. But here we have the upper. I'm guessing that's going to be held in with something, of course. It is free moving in there. You see the O-ring's actually damaged. So this is going to be held in. The only thing I can see that is holding it in is the actual hot wheel itself. So let's back the hot wheel out. Like that. Yeah, correctamundo. And we can pull this out. It's got some weird pins on the side. These are like rubber buffers. And is that just screwed directly? So that screws directly onto the hop. There's no lever? Or like nubbing is what I'm trying to say. So that just literally pushes directly on there. You see all like the crap in the barrel. So my assumption is what they've done is they've at the factory or wherever they're made, they've basically just produced thousands of them and then gone, for the different barrel lengths we'll just do this, which is a super retarded way to do it. Sorry, not sorry. It's just create a normal barrel. It would have been cheaper to produce that as one part, not put threads on it. I don't get it. The bolt, we can pull the handle out, and I'm guessing we can just flick up the recoil spring at the bottom here like that, and then we might be able to, yeah, there we go, bolt comes out. The only other thing in here I think is this clicker system. So it's held in by one bolt there, and that's what gives you your hot wheel clicks, because it's like a little piece that comes in. So I'm not going to mess with that. This piece at the back here, so we do have a rubber buffer, you can see there, and then this piece just holds the recoil spring assembly in. That to me looks like it's just one pin to remove that, which is it's not actually fixed in place, it just rotates. It's weird that is. What's that all about? Like you thought this was, oh I see, so the actual charging handle itself acts as a stop for the nozzle. And the interesting thing is that goes like just below halfway, so you could actually get another one of these, put it on the other side and just have 2 charging handles. So if you wanted to do that, you could. We've got what looks like a series of pins here. So it looks like you've got a big roll pin at the back. You've got a cavity here which is just empty, and then what looks like you put a pin in. So maybe at some point they were going to put rollers in the top. That's what it kind of looks like. Unless it's for something kind of future release that we're just not aware of yet. This thing, this guide rod is so scratchy and resistant. So that needs to come apart, be cleaned and polished. I don't know if you can that comes across on camera that it's grabbing. So if your bolt twists in any slight way, it jams up, and that will not help the situation. That needs a bit of a relief cut in there to make a bit more space. So to me, this is going to be similar to like a KCO2 style bolt, where you pop this pin out. Do we have anything to put behind it? We pop this pin out and then it will should just come out freely. I'm just going to use a box for now. Hopefully this will work. It might not be rigid enough, but we'll see. Seems to be working. I've bottomed out the pin there, but it is enough to get the assembly out. So that's the nozzle assembly. You can see everything's encapsulated on these spares. So what it will be is it will be a single pin, which is probably this one in the center, which will hold the nozzle spring. Oh, be careful with that. I think it's that one there. I don't think it's any other one, which is also going to be a pain to get out. So let's see if we can. It wasn't too bad. So we pull that pin out, and then that's what pulls the nozzle out. So then you want to change your nozzle. You do have to strip the whole thing down, but that's the way to do it. You've got like a piston cup style design on here. It just does have fraying of the rubber. So that's also something, this part could probably be easily improved. That's what I want to say. So I already have an idea how you could make this better. If you want us to do parts of this platform, let us know, but I just don't see it being that popular a platform. So when you put this together, you line up the loop, you slide this in. You do have to make sure the spring's in the center. Doesn't want to go in all the way for some reason. So that will be super annoying if it doesn't quite reach. Why is it not reaching? I saw it the first time I did it. So if this is the case, and then you can only just see a little bit, what you will actually need to do is get something very fine to sort of put in there and catch that spring. But the first time I put it in, it was okay. Where now, it doesn't want to go in all the way, which is super annoying. Let's try another one. Now these are actually stuck to the side from factory, so what you actually need to do is push the valve forward to let the springs sit in the middle, because the valves, apologies, the valve's basically holding this spring to the side, so you just need to push the valve in and push that into the middle, and then you would push this in and line it up. That also doesn't reach, so it's going to be a bit of a faff. So you would have to get something extremely thin. Do we have anything here? Probably not not on hand. So I'll stretch it out a little bit, see if that helps. No, so you know, applying these is going to be a bit of a what should we call it? A bit annoying, because you're not going to have anything. You'd need like a pin, like something very sharp and thin, to get under that loop in the spring and sort of push it into place. Actually, I've just managed to do it, so it wasn't too bad. And then what you'd have to do is, while holding that, push the pin in, which pushes your tool out like that. Tap that home, and there you go, it's in. So you might have to faff about a little bit. Apart from that, there's nothing else really that needs to come apart in the bolt. That's pretty much everything. Slide it back in so it sits on the bottom guide rails, like so. That will line up that piston section in the back. Which doesn't want to line up for some reason. Let's make sure that pin's in all the way. So you would have to, basically what's happening is that spring's just holding it forward a bit. So you get to that stage. What did I do with the pin? Oh, it's still in the other side, which is probably why I wasn't able to do it from that side. So we just want to slot that back. It doesn't want to go back for some reason. See what's happening now. So you've got like these little pockets on the back of the piston, and those need to actually index on each side there. So if you're not perfectly straight like that, it won't let you install it. So you need to have that perfectly lined up, and then you just get a hammer and you smack 10 craps out of this pin so it's flush. And then you tap it in a little bit further, because you don't want it to catch anything inside the receiver. Like that. I'm using a crude box here because I don't know where my armourer's block is, but that is your bolt reassembled. Now this is already jammed up. This part is going to be a bit of a nightmare. And then we can drop this back in like that. So you want the catch sat like this. So this curved little chamfered section at the top, the one with the little circle cut out at the bottom towards the bolt, because this is going to latch into the receiver. And then we just drop this in. Once that's dropped in, you get a little pokey tool again, and you just take your spring guide, push it in slightly if you can, and pop it in like that. So what I had to do when doing that is I had to pull the bolt up a little bit so that spring guide is straight, because it didn't want to push in. But once it's in there, to be honest with you, it's smooth. It could just be a little bit better. So that in, we're going to put the charging handle back on, like so. And then we can actually put this back on the receiver. So I'm just making sure think is where it needs to go. Is that, was that in the receiver like that? I think it was. Did that fall out earlier? I wonder if that pin holds the buffer in. Yeah, so it does. So that must have like fell out at some point. So it's just a simple rubber pad, slides in the back like that. That pin goes in and secures it. And we take our upper, we can slot it back in like that. We can tap these pins in. And then we can actually screw these back on to secure it in place. I don't believe the front one holds anything in with the hop. I could be mistaken, so we'll give that a try. 4mm Allen key secures this back in. Sorry if this is going to be a long video. I'm trying to be as comprehensive as I can, whilst also like seeing things for the first time. I never took one of these apart before. No idea how to do it. I figured it out pretty easy. It can't be that hard. We're going to screw this in here. We're going to see if it protrudes into the barrel or into the receiver, which it does not. So we can put that in without any drama. We've got our little paddle here, which is useless in my opinion, but there we are. This part also doesn't need to be metal at all. You know, you could shave a bit of weight off the gun by using some nice polymers like that. So that's back in. Last of all, the barrel assembly. I'm trying not to laugh every time I think about this thing. And we got some Phillips head screws. We got 4 of them. 1, and 2. Riveting content, I know. Look how exciting this is, removing 4 screws from a hop unit. Wow. Be interested to see what the power's like with that barrel. They did release images at they were showing it off at IWA. They did a short version of this with like an SD, non-SD front end, which was very circular. Now I imagine that will use this short barrel, so you wouldn't have to worry about a dual barrel. So I'm guessing that model out the box will probably shoot the best, just because it hasn't got this stupid. I'm going to stop going on about it now. I'll try. So we've got a split hop design. Got some O-rings on the barrel here. Luckily it's not cut out on the barrel, so we should be able to fit VSR or GBBR style barrels. Why you would need that, I don't know. Maybe it's just to take a bit of slack out the barrel. Now this looks like either a maple leaf rubber or a maple leaf rip-off, but it's very yeah. If it isn't a maple leaf rubber, they've copied the maple leaf design of having that little ring. But this is a brand new gun. This is a brand new gun. Look at the state of it. To be honest, I didn't check it from new. So it's either chopping BBs, which I don't think it was doing. Or this is a lot of BB residue. The hot patch, hopefully you can see that there. It's probably not super clear. So this is going to be going, that's going to be going. I think that's not much of a contact patch. So I think we're going to have to CAD something up here to make this system as good as it can be. And if I do, you guys know it's going to be available for you if you want it. Now, I don't tend to like to fit these rings because sometimes they can cause an issue, and in my experience it wears out the hot rubber a lot faster. It's just in my experience. I'm sure there's going to be people that argue with me on the internet about that, but that's what I have seen. So that goes together. Sure, we can do like a little pocket nub or something like that to sit in there. You've got all this empty space here. I imagine that's so maybe you can adjust the hot wheel out, but not all the way, and then it can slide out from the front. Putting it back together, super simple and easy. 1, 2, 3, 4 little Phillips screws. We'll whack these in real quick. So I think if you're buying one of these VMP-2s, a lot of people said they like the look of it. I mean, I don't think I'm the minority when I say I don't like the look of this thing. I think I'm probably part of the majority. I don't know, let me know down in the comments below. But a lot of people said they like the look of this thing, that it looks really good. Which is fine. You know, if you think it looks good, that's I'm sure I like things that a lot of people don't like. So many people have told me that my custom builds are horrible, like the Saiga one, no one liked that, but I seem to like it, so it's an objective thing. We'll pop these screws back in. It's just taking longer than I had hoped. Pop the O-ring, the damaged O-ring, back on the opening there. Put this stupid barrel back together. Honestly, I think that's the worst part of the rifle. Thinking that you can do something like this and have a peak performance gun. Oh dear, I digress. Put the hot wheel back in. Like that. That's in. And put the outer barrel back on, which slots in really easy. And screw this on. So yeah, they torqued the hell out of the screws on the flash hider. And then when it came to like the important parts, like, I don't know, your rail system, which they were just like, click, and done. And that's back together. So the grip, I'm not going to put that on because I'm going to change it. I'm going to cut up a die-free coat grip just so you guys can see what it's like when it's on there. No idea what I'm going to do for the stock. I'm probably going to have to do like a Velcro patch mod to take out any slop in the stock. Rail, again, no idea. I've got some Mark 18 rails, different generations. I've got all kinds of funky stuff that's come off Maruis and MTWs and all that stuff. So there's plenty of stuff to choose from. I know what we could do. So this is a very expensive rail that I've had for a while. And this was originally on my MTW. This is real spec. So I can guarantee you they've fitted AEG spec stuff on this. Because cheaper. Now, real spec nut does go on there. So maybe it is real steel spec and I'll need to mince my own words, and it doesn't go on far enough though. So looks ridiculous, doesn't it? I would never put such a nice part on such an absolute abomination. This, I'm saving this back for something nice. I'm not sure what yet, but there's no freaking way I'm fitting it on this VMP-2. I think I would literally have to quit airsoft if I did, or quit shooting in general. Right, so that's there. We've got that all back together. Again, if you're putting yours back together, you simply just put your barrel nut on. You can tighten that up like that. Slide your rail back on, do up all your screws, put your piece of cack flash hider back on. I'm trying to see if I've got anything accessible that can go on there. See the thread is like really loose as well. Not too bad. It's a very short thread. However, we'll crack on. So the grip, I'll sort that out. I'm going to find some kind of rail for it. The stock, we'll figure that out in the end. We can pull off the silly, it's going to be a 3mm, isn't it? All the different sizes of Allen keys. We can pull off this silly iron sight. I'd rather it had just shipped me nothing, to be honest. These things are going to be absolutely useless. But many of us are going to put red dots and optics on there. So we've just passed the 40-minute mark, so I'm going to wrap this video up now. So everything has been stripped down there apart from the trigger box, which I think would have to be a video in itself. Hopefully this helps you with any type of maintenance or anything else you need to do like that, and do it in a safe and proper way. Stay tuned for what I do with this thing. I mean, there's not much left of it, is there? And perhaps we'll of course be fitting a solid barrel. What barrel length I don't know. I could, you know, machine this down on the lathe if I want to go for a short build, but that doesn't really make any sense what I want to use it for. And yeah, tart it with some bits, butcher a die Frico grip to fit it. Just run it like this. We just call it the abomination and just run round and just it's unsafe. And people are like, what the hell are you just shooting with? Literally some old man's cane with a magazine attached to it. So right, I'm gonna leave it there. Thanks for tuning this video. If you watched all of it, I appreciate you, because that helps us be shown in the YouTube algorithm to even more people. If you haven't and you've just skipped to the bit that you want to see, that's fine too. Hopefully it's helped you if you're doing maintenance, upgrades, anything like that. If you're buying one of these VMP-2s, the first thing that you need to be doing is changing out that barrel, because it is garbage. It's going to cause you consistency issues, accuracy issues. It might even affect your range. It's just get it out there, get it gone. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think down in the comments down below. Check out the Instagram. Check out the links. I'm mincing my words now. Check out the links in the description. Join the Jaeger Precision Discord community. And as always, from me, and more importantly from Bench, we'll see you in the next one.